Choosing a new phone is one of the most exciting things to do, well, for me at least. This whole process of deciding on which brand to go with, what specs to choose. I go through this whole process of going through different YouTubers, trying to find out what's the opinion of one guy, what's the opinion of another guy, comparing prices, comparing specs, and the whole process is actually really fun for me, and I don't get to do it often because I try my best to really maximize the time that I have with my current phone. Today is not a review. Today is not a first impressions. Today I wanted to share with you the process that I go through when choosing a smartphone, what I personally look for, and why I ultimately ended up with the OnePlus 8 Pro. I had no idea this was here the whole time. Let me get this out of frame. To me, it really boils down to 4 aspects when choosing a smartphone, and I'll go through them one by one. But you have to ask yourself, the number one question that I always ask myself when choosing a smartphone is, what do I personally need and what can and I cannot live without? You can't get the perfect smartphone. I mean, yes, there are flagship smartphones out there that have a ton of specs and also have a huge price tag on them. But you can get that, fine. If you can afford it, sure, why not? But even that phone is not completely perfect. And there are other phones, maybe in a different price bracket, that can suit your needs more. So ask yourself before choosing a smartphone and before even looking at brands, what are the few things that I need? Make sure it's realistic. Like for me, I can personally live without an amazing camera in my smartphone. It's just something to me that's not entirely important because the way I use a camera on a smartphone is more for documentation purposes, just capturing memories, not too much trying to get the best picture quality out of it. From that point, I can already cross out some phones on my list and make the choice a lot easier and more streamlined in terms of options. So I chose the OnePlus 8 Pro for certain reasons, okay? I am not saying that Android is better than Apple. So let's not get into that argument. I personally use a MacBook and I also use a Windows. I use an Android, so I'm all around. I just want to make it clear that this is not a review video. This is not a first impressions video. If you want to see an in-depth review on the OnePlus 8 Pro, there are a ton of YouTubers that you can check out. I'll link some in the description below. You can check those out. First thing I look for in a smartphone is the OS. So the operating system. So to me, that is super important. I need something that is flexible, something that I can customize to my liking. And using an Android phone for a couple of years already, I experienced more flexibility when it came to Android, and I ended up choosing the OnePlus 8 Pro because its OS, Oxygen OS, is the closest thing you can get to a stock Android without getting a Pixel phone. So that was one of the biggest deciding factors of choosing the OnePlus 8 Pro. And before this phone, I was using a OnePlus 5T, and I've been very happy with it. You know, it's one of the few phones that I was able to get around 3 years of life from, 2.5 to 3 years of life from, without experiencing slowdown. That was one of the first factors that drew me straight to the OnePlus 8 Pro from the beginning. Alright, secondly, what I look for in a smartphone is battery. I am someone you would typically call a power user. So I am on my phone constantly throughout the day. I consume a lot of media on my phone. I'm always on YouTube. I'm always scrolling through Instagram. I also do a lot of work on my phone. So I create documents, I create sheets. For some reason, it's just more convenient for me. it has really become something that I do on a daily basis. So I am a power hungry user when it comes to my smartphone. I ended up with the OnePlus 8 Pro because it had that 4510 milliamp battery. That was plenty enough for me. Yes, there are other phones that have a bigger battery like the Samsung, especially the newer ones, the S20 Ultra. So that has a bigger battery. I think the Note also has a bigger battery, and I was actually considering those phones as well. But another factor when choosing the battery was the charge time. So with the OnePlus 8 Pro, they have a feature called Warp Charge, and that allows my phone to get up to a higher, maybe get up to 50 or 60% quicker than normal. So I've actually been using the phone now for maybe a week and a half. In my experience, in my actual trials, around 15 minutes gets me around 50 to 60% from maybe 8%. So it's really, really quick, and that helps a lot with me, since again, I'm a power hungry user. Third thing that I look for in a smartphone is something actually that I don't think a lot of people look for, and it's basically front-facing speakers. As I said, I consume a lot of media on my phone, and having front-facing speakers, it just makes the whole experience so much better, so much easier. You're not anymore doing that, you know, I'm sure you guys done this when you're watching videos, right? Or like you're watching it like this, and you're gonna cup it in such a way that you're sending the audio from the downward facing speakers, you're trying to shoot it towards your face. Front facing speakers is something you can't get in a lot of smartphones now, and I don't think a lot of them advertise it. You may correct me if I'm wrong, just hit me down in the comments, guys. The OnePlus 8 Pro, they don't really advertise that this is a front facing speaker smartphone. So it has a bottom firing speaker, but the neat thing about this, it also uses the top earpiece as a speaker. And in my tests, if I cover the bottom, I can still hear the audio clear enough from the earpiece, and if I do it the other way, same thing. Having this feature makes it just a joy to be able to watch videos, and the experience is just so much better. After using it for a week, I was able to notice something that made a big difference for me. I'm a right-handed user. On my old phone, the bottom firing speaker was on the left side here, okay? But for the OnePlus 8 Pro, it's over here on the right side. I'm not sure if the previous OnePlus 7 also made this change, but it's my first time noticing it here on the 8 Pro. And what that allows me to do, I normally hold it on my right hand, and I support the phone with my pinky here in the bottom. And before, when the speaker was here, every time I watch a video vertically, it covers up the whole. And now it's just so nice that it's on the right side. I can hold it normally, like that. I am not covering the bottom firing speaker. Okay, lastly is price. And isn't it crazy how smartphones now are just getting outrageously expensive? It's now upwards of $1,000, and to me that's just sometimes really crazy to spend on a phone. Yes, the specs are getting better, yes, the screens are getting better, but to me, I'm not willing to spend that much on a phone. So for what I'm getting for the price of the OnePlus 8 Pro, I'm very satisfied. Yes, it's a little expensive, it's not the cheapest, but I was able to get what I needed out of this phone. And this is gonna be something that lasts me a long time, because I normally really try to go through at least 2 or 3 generations of the newer phones before I refresh what I have. That's why I had the OnePlus 5T, so I missed out on the 6, I missed out on the 7, and then I get the 3rd generation. So that is my cycle of smartphone upgrades. Just to sum it all up, when choosing a smartphone, first ask yourself, what do I need? And also, what can I live without? Make sure it's realistic. You can't have everything. That's why my list is just 4 things. If I get those 4 things, I am a happy camper when it comes to my smartphone. There's no such thing as a perfect smartphone. Even the most expensive one has its drawbacks. And even the most expensive one is gonna be replaced with something that is better, right? But right now, OnePlus has been satisfying my needs, and it's a very good phone. If you guys are interested in this phone, definitely check it out. They also have an alternative, which is the OnePlus 8, the non-Pro version. So yeah, that's it. Simple video. I didn't want to go too in-depth with it. Again, I'll link below the more in-depth videos of the OnePlus 8 Pro if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you want to just share with me and share with everyone the top 4 things that you look for in a smartphone. I'm so curious to see what you guys have in mind. All of us have different needs. Yeah, that's it. The OnePlus 8 Pro. The train. Let's wait for the train. You hear that? That's a train. There's a train. Yep. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. Calling its passengers.